Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Houston.
The Houston Astros are back home to face the Chicago Cubs in a 3-game series. Henry Sosa gets his second career start as he tries to slow down Chicago. The Cubs look to keep things rolling after winning 4 of their last 5 games. So get ready. The Astros and Cubs are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston Rinchu, Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's the opener of the homestand, the first of 3 between the Astros and the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros coming back home, and now they try to snap that losing streak against the Cubs, who have gotten hot, JD.
And the Astros are managing just 1 run over the weekend series in Los Angeles. Will look to inflict some damage on veteran right-hander Rodrigo Lopez, who pitches for the Cubs tonight. It's kind of an interesting pitching matchup tonight because you got the veteran Lopez trying to hang in there in his major league career, 35 years of age, and has pitched pretty well since joining the Cubs. The finesse guy, doesn't throw real hard. He'll remind a lot of Greg Maddux in terms of his delivery. The Astros should be able to get a little something going against Lopez. And for the Astros tonight, it's Henry Sosa making his second major league start. He debuted in Arizona on the road trip, got touched up for 3 runs in the first inning, but settled in and actually threw the ball pretty well after that. Got the nerves out of the way, showed a pretty good slider, and hopefully he'll be able to build on that here this evening.
As the Astros try to snap their 6-game losing streak, the Cubs are fresh from Atlanta, where they won 2 of 3. And these two teams have had sweeps against each other the last 2 series they've played. Let's see who gets game 1 in just a moment.
The Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. The Astros are on the field. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays are in the booth. It's time for baseball, guys.
Thank you, Greg, and happy Green Monday, everybody. That's what they're calling it. We'll explain that later. Meanwhile, the Chicago Cubs will start. Starlin Castro at shortstop, Darwin Barney at second base, Aramis Ramirez at third, Carlos Pena at first. Marlon Byrne in center field, Reed Johnson in left, Tyler Colvin in right, Giovanni Soto the catcher, Rodrigo Lopez the pitcher.
Start number 2 tonight for Henry Sosa. First time out against the Diamondbacks. He worked 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which came in the first inning. Walked 3, punched out 4.
Starlin Castro leads the league in hits with 157. First pitch to him. Strike one. Jim Wolf is behind the plate. 311 for Starlin Castro. 7 homers. He's driven in 56 with a .338 on base percentage. But he's got some sock. He's 9th in total bases in the National League.
Power to hit home runs, the speed to hit triples. And he makes a ton of contact. Came up empty there, looking like he was maybe looking for a fastball after that initial slider. Took a very weak swing.
Sosa gave up a leadoff homer to Willie Bloomquist in his first major league start last Wednesday in Arizona. This time he gets a leadoff strikeout.
Obviously the game plan was to attack Starlin Castro with sliders. And he did. Not only did he stay exclusive with the slider, but away and down, good spots, all 3. Sooner or later, he will need his defense. And it's Martinez, Bourgeois, Bogasevic, excuse me, covering the outfield. Downs, Barmas, Altuve, and Lee on the infield. Q's got a stiff back. He was scratched yesterday, but gets the assignment here tonight.
Darwin Barney takes strike one. 293 for Barney. 1 homer, 35 runs batted in a very good rookie season for him. He made an excellent catch yesterday as Dan Uggla's 33-game hitting streak came to an end. He made a sensational play on Uggla in right field. And in the number 2 spot in the lineup has done well for the Cubs. And flicks this one up the right field line. That'll go into the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the Oregon Stater. Played on the '07 College World Series champs. And he is a hustling ball player. Fun to watch. Barney's hit .235 against the Astros this season. 25 years old. It's 2-2. You mentioned Quintero, JD, and he went to see a doctor today for that stiff back. Brad Mills said he hoped he wouldn't have to scratch him, and there he is catching with an 11-game hitting streak, his career high. That went off the plate. Barney was able to show restraint and check his swing. Alan Porter verifies that call, and it's 3-2.
Henry a little wobbly, as I mentioned, in that first inning in his first start, and then settled in and pitched pretty well. At times was very sharp, other times a little inconsistent with his command, but that's the nature of pitching and certainly would be expected or anticipated in a guy making his major league debut. So far tonight, looks pretty good.
He does look composed. He had a couple of walks in addition to the hits he allowed in that first inning in Arizona. Foul ball there. He had made the drive from Tucson to Phoenix that afternoon. And a very, very big time for him. A lot of family and friends were watching back in the Dominican Republic as he made his major league debut. And after the first inning, it went well.
Over from the Giants and the Jeff Keppinger deal. And a walk on a 3-2 slider. That's part of learning at this level is you know, what hitters, what situations are you willing to be very aggressive and when are you going to be careful. I think Barney's a guy that you want to be aggressive with in that situation. A guy like Aramis Ramirez, Carlos Pena, Soriano, the power guys in their lineup, certainly understandable. You may try to catch a corner with a slider in a situation like that, but Barney, whether it's slider, fastball, whatever, that's a situation where you want to be throwing the ball in the strike zone.
Ramirez whacks a line drive to the left center field gap. Coming over to fielder Bourgeois. He'll throw in towards second on the single by Ramirez, giving him a 5-game hitting streak. And it's first and third, one out for Carlos Pena now.
Fastball right over the heart of the plate.
Ramirez now with 9 hits in his last 18 at bats has helped to set the table for Pena. Quintero out for a word with Sosa, who's 26 years old. He signed as a free agent with the Giants in 2004. And the Giants had him working in relief this year, but when the Astros got him in the Keppinger trade, they moved him back to the rotation at AA and then promoted him to AAA. Carlos Pena's on a 4-game hitting streak with a .221 average. That's not important because he walks a lot. 69 walks, ranking him 3rd in the National League. And they're trying to crowd him. It's ball 1.
Yeah, went deep yesterday. Has 23 home runs now. A guy who strikes out a lot, but does draw a lot of walks. There's a lot of talk about him being moved at the trade deadline.
He has a .341 on base average thanks to those walks. Now the target moves outside, and he takes that one as well. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Marlon Byrd's on deck as Sosa tries to get the Cubs here in the first.
It looks like Henry's willing to sacrifice a little velocity to try to get movement on his 2-seam fastball. Scouting report says he can reach 95. He's been mostly 92, trying to sink it here tonight.
Fastball fouled away. Pena had a pitch to hit. 2-1. We checked the minor league progress of Sosa.
Yeah, he's been a AA and AAA with both the Giants and the Astros organizations this year, and has worked as both a starter and a reliever. All told, a 10-3 record. High ERA with the AAA team in Fresno, where he was working exclusively in relief.
High drive to center field. Bourgeois with his back to the infield, still going back way up on Tal's Hill. Bourgeois diving. It's extra bases. Barney scores. Ramirez around third. He comes to the plate. The throw is up the line. It's cut off, and it's a 2-run double for Pena. Hit it about 420 feet, way up on Tal's Hill, and it'll be a home run in a lot of ballparks. But Pena settles for double number 17, giving him 67 runs batted in.
Yeah, that's the longest double of his career, I got to believe.
Yeah.
This one was really crunched. He gets extended through it. Look at the finish. He thinks he got enough of it, and then he realizes, wait a minute, I'm in Minute Maid Park. Way up the hill. What a catch that would have been.
Oh, yeah.
So Jason turning one way, then the other, and that's difficult. You get turned the wrong way, and then you have to try to make the adjustment on your way up the hill.
And Barney almost tripped over the bat. Ian Ramirez scoring to make it 2-0 Cubs. This can be a very difficult center field when the shots go up there. So Pena has provided the first couple. Now it's Marlon Byrd batting. It is quite an obstacle on a play like that. Byrd looks at it, and it's strike one.
Jason Bourgeois went up the hill to fetch a Carlos Pena drive.
305 for Marlon, 6 homers. He's driven in 22.
Beamed in the face earlier this year. That's why he's got that protector on.
1 ball, 1 strike. He's come back nicely from that injury. Had 3 hits yesterday. He's had 5 multi-hit games in his last 13.
Cubs have been playing good. They've won 11 out of their last 14 ball games.
They've won 4 straight series. They hadn't done that since the 08 season. Fouled away, and it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. They're 5-4 against the Astros this season. And during the 14 games you mentioned, winning 11 of those, their slugging percentage has been .494. Mike Quade has enjoyed that. It's been the best in the National League in that period of time. Cubs are 17 games behind front-running Milwaukee. The Astros 32 games out. So Quade has seen quite a turnaround and a 10-3 record in the month of August. That pitch is up, and it's 2-2. Sosa exchanged positions with Jay Happ coming from the AAA rotation to the big league spot. And it was confirmed a few days ago that he would get this opportunity for a second major league start. And Jay Happ had a pretty good first AAA start. But he could be pitching again tonight. We haven't checked on that. But if he continues to show progress, he could be back fairly quickly. Bird strikes out. That's 2. The Cubs whiffed 18 times yesterday, but they won.
Well, they were up against the Braves, and 6 of those strikeouts came from the dynamic duo of Venters and Kimbrel, those 2 talented kids at the back of the Braves bullpen. But they do. They don't walk much. They swing and miss quite a bit.
Reed Johnson's the batter, the left fielder at 351. With 5 homers, has 26 runs batted in. And he has had his downtime with an injury this year as well. But very productive when he plays. And he looks at ball 1 there.
Nice to see that he's got the most interesting man in the world beard working again.
Yeah.
He had abandoned that for a while. It's good to see that back.
It's a good look for him. It all comes down to how he hits. He's got that beard. He had some back problems earlier this year. He's had a history of those. He played for the Dodgers last season. Reed's 34 years old, drafted by Toronto in '99.
I really think it all comes down to how you look.
Do you?
Yeah. Jerry Mumford used to say, if you can't hit, at least look good in the lobby.
Well, Jerry did. 1-1, and then there were those people about whom they said they couldn't hit in the lobby. So, variety of approaches. The old saying the team couldn't take batting practice in the lobby and do any damage.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes. This is Green Monday because the draft choices who haven't signed yet in Major League Baseball have until 11 p.m. Central Time to sign tonight. So there's going to be a lot of green changing hands during the last few hours up to that 11 p.m. Central deadline.
Some might argue it should be called Greed Monday.
Huh? So we haven't heard if the dominoes are falling yet or not. We'll check on that later.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down late tonight.
Okay. Well, the Astros have outfielder from Connecticut, George Springer, as their #1 choice. They have Jack Armstrong as their #3 pick, I believe. And then a few others they'd like to sign tonight. One of those 14th rounder, Gandy Stubblefield from Lufkin High School, a pitcher. He's committed to Texas A&M if he does not sign with the Astros. Johnson is down on strikes. So Sosa strikes out the side, but the Cubs get 2 runs on 2 hits and strand a man to take the early lead 2-0. Now the Astros with Brad Mills putting together this lineup card. Come to the plate, center fielder Jason Bourgeois, second baseman Jose Altuve, left fielder J.D. Martinez, first baseman Carlos Lee. At third it's Matt Downs, in right Brian Bogusevic, at short Clint Barmas, the catcher Humberto Quintero, the pitcher Henry Sosa.
Veteran Rodrigo Lopez pitches for the Cubs tonight. He's made 8 starts. He's also worked 10 times out of the bullpen. 3-3, 4.78 is ERA for the Cubs. Defensively, here are your Chicago Cubs. Reed Johnson, Marlon Byrd, Tyler Colvin, Ramirez Castro, Barney Pena. Pena's very good over there at first base. Giovanni Soto is the catcher. Castro, the shortstop, has had some problems defensively.
Jason Bourgeois received the Heart and Hustle Award tonight. There is strike one. He's on a 3-game hitting streak, a .312 hitter with 1 homer, 13 runs batted in, and a .328 on base average, leading it off here against Lopez. It's a nice award. Players of each team get that award, and then there will be a national overall winner named after the season. Jimmy Wynn presented the award on the field to Jason. And it goes to an active player on each club who demonstrates a passion for the game of baseball and best embodies the values, spirits, and traditions of the game. 2-1. Lopez 0-2 in his last 4 starts against the Astros. There's a ground ball, backhanded. Castro off balance throw, and a good play.
Talked about Castro having some problems at shortstop this year, but he's also capable of doing the spectacular out there, and that was an awfully nice play. Especially when you consider Bourgeois was going down the line. Like the sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah, 21 years old and an all-star this year. Jose Altuve on a 9-game hitting streak has put together a very good start to his major league. 24 major league games. Takes the breaking pitch, strike one. .333 is his average. He's driven in 5 and scored 11 so far. Jose hit .344 on the road trip. Lopez throws a strike, and he's out in front 0-2.
Lopez below average in terms of velocity. You see 87 miles an hour there on the fastball, but typically spots it pretty well.
78 and 85 lifetime with a 4.85 ERA.
Best years coming with the Orioles a few years back. Actually started this year in AAA Gwinnett in the Braves system. Pitched very well there. And the Cubs picked him up and they had a need. Threw him in the rotation for a while and then back into the bullpen, and now back into the rotation. He just wants the ball. Give me the ball. I'll do whatever he asks.
Backhanded, Castro throwing from the grass. 2 outs on 2 good Castro plays.
Jumped up on him a little bit, but no problem.
Close. J.D. Martinez follows. Martinez looks, and it's ball 1 to J.D., a .250 hitter with 4 homers, who's driven in 15. Power hitting start to his career. Hit 2 homers and drove in 7 runs on the road trip. That one goes foul, and it's 1-1. Mike Barnett was explaining to Rudy Jaramillo, the Cubs hitting coach, about J.D. Martinez before the game today. And when Barney worked with him his first year in pro ball, and he said to J.D., you're one of those guys who has to get the front foot down early. That's the type of hitter you are. Line drive into center field, and he does that well with a 2-out single. So as long as he does that, he's really in good shape.
You see the foot down, and then he leaves it down. There's no step into the ball. He just throws the hands.
Carlos Lee with 68 runs batted in and 11 homers has hit .263, and he's hit 36 career bombs against Cubs pitching. He's among the top in the majors among active players at homering against Chicago. And there's strike one. Carlos on the Astros road trip was 4 for 20, driving in 5. Matt Downs is on deck.
5 RBIs is pretty good production for 4 hits and 20 at bats.
Well, that's true.
If you want to be a glasses half full kind of guy.
Well, that's the way the Astros probably need to look at things right now, with a .314 winning percentage, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak, their longest of the year. It's a 2-ball 1-strike count, and for only the second time in club history, they had a 3-game series in which they scored a total of 1 run. That had not happened since '88. And that may not be the second time in club history. The last time it happened was '88. 1 run on 14 hits, 2 of them extra base hits.
Yeah, that was some shutdown pitching they saw in L.A. My goodness.
Very good stuff. Kershaw was dynamic. Eovaldi was the guy who opened our eyes Friday night.
Yeah, we knew what we were going to get from Kershaw and had a pretty good idea what we were going to get from Kuroda, who absolutely owns the Astros.
Strike makes it 3-2 now. Jim Riggleman is here scouting tonight.
Riggs now working for the Giants. Used to manage the Cubs.
Cubs come in without Carlos Zambrano, and they're not planning on him pitching for them again. Runner takes off on 3-2, and it's foul back. Zambrano left the club, told somebody he was retiring. And then, according to reports, his agent, Barry Praver, tried to spin it by saying, well, he came back later that night and returned the stuff that he had taken out of his locker, but it was reported that it was not Big Z, but a friend of his who came back with the stuff later that night. And he has been pretty much isolated from talking to his teammates, has not returned phone calls. Lee takes a walk, and there are 2 on for Matt Downs now. See what Ryan Dempster had to say. He made his bed, let him sleep in it. It's not like this is something new.
Yeah,
it's true.
I think there's a real good chance that the union would file a grievance, and I don't know if the MLB would, have a hearing, and if the disqualification were lifted or something to that effect, the Cubs may ultimately have to pay Zambrano some of that money over these 30 days in which he's been disqualified. But I think regardless, the ship has sailed on Zambrano. I think he will not pitch in a Cub uniform again. He's a contract, would be my guess.
240 for Matt Downs. He's gone deep 6 times, driving in 23. Something like $22 million owed to Zambrano, including next year. Downs is 4 for 11 against Chicago pitching with a homer. He's driven in 5.
It's a big hit to take, but sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
Think of it in terms of, well, we're paying him $22 million over the rest of this year and next. But if we replace him with a minimum salary guy, then kind of look at it that way, and it doesn't hurt quite as much.
Mm-hmm. Downs fouls it back. It's 1-2. Matt was talking about the youngsters in the clubhouse and learning their way at the major league level for the game tonight. Now, as a part of that mix, he's getting a little bit more playing time. He last started on Monday at Arizona at first base. This is his 22nd start of the year. Brad Mills tries to keep everybody fresh. Jimmy Paredes getting the night off tonight. Pretty good, didn't
yeah.
it? 2-2.
Yeah, that's Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, Randy's brother, typically has a fairly tight zone. He's usually more of a hitter's umpire, and I could spell trouble for Lopez because he's a finesse guy. He can't throw the ball up over the heart of the plate and expect to get away with it. Look how he's worked the corners of that zone, right on the edges.
That's where he likes to live. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now, can he get downs to swinging one out of the zone? Where should he place this pitch, JD?
Well, I don't know if he's going to try to get him to chase a breaking ball. If he throws a fastball, he's just going to try to throw it outside edge down around the knees.
Kovacevic on deck. Six-game homestand for the Astros. The Giants are here over the weekend. Runners move, and it's a high chop. Castro with the play, and he makes all 3 of the plays for the Giants. It's no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded, 2-0 Cubs after 1.
Over the Astros. And hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. A lot of families out tonight on a Monday night. First game of the homestand. We have a day game coming up on Wednesday at 1:05.
School starts soon. You got to the ballpark while you can.
That's right. Tyler Colvin looks at the first pitch here in the second inning. It's ball 1. He checks in at a low 135 with 4 homers, 13 driven in. That's in the air, and it's being chased by Clint Barmas, but he peels off, and Jason Bourgeois is there. 1 out for Henry Sosa. Drayden McClain met with the media before the game tonight during batting practice about the statement put out by Major League Baseball that the owners will not be voting on the Astros ownership change this week at their meetings. Giovanni Soto at 229 with 12 homers has driven in 35. Fouled away, strike 1. It seems that, as you see Drayden there watching this ball game, it's just a delay because they didn't have time to run all the due diligence checks on some of the Astros minority owners. That's what we're hearing anyway. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just things getting stuck because they have a lot of work to do at the Major League Baseball office, so they'll take a little more time. Perhaps 10 days, 2 weeks is what we're hearing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tap foul. It's still 1-2 with Lopez on deck.
I heard it was because they're paying the radio broadcasters way above slot.
Oh. Soto strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Sosa. Struck out 4 in 6 innings.
Kind of like his start last time. He threw a lot of quality pitches, got swings and misses with his slider. Prone to make some mistakes over the plate with the fastball, and that's what happened in that first inning. He threw Ramirez a cookie, threw one up out over the plate for Pena. You know, you have games where you get away with that, but just a matter of minimizing those mistakes.
Strike to Lopez, who has 2 hits and 14 at-bats. Astros acquired a 19-year-old outfielder, Domingo Santana, from the Phillies, as that player to be named in the July 30th trade for Hunter Pence. Grounded to first. And Carlos Lee takes it to the bag. A 1-2-3 second for Sosa. A 2-0 lead for the Cubs.
Saturday, it's Los Astros night presented by Goya at Minute Maid Park. The celebration begins with a pregame street fest at 4 p.m. and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Los Astros jersey t-shirt courtesy of Goya Foods. Visit astros.com/Los Astros for tickets. Hombres.
Sí.
¿Cómo estás?
De nada. Un poco.
We were rolling till then, Jim.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can go
Bien.
a little ways with it, but not too far.
Muy bien.
We need to go back to class, don't we?
See.
Especially before Saturday night, when we can really get into the spirit of it. We'll be fluent by then. You working Saturday night, Patty?
El noche de sábado?
Yes.
No.
Okay. You can help us out on the phone maybe then. Could be our phone friend. Brian Bogusevic leads it off. Home second inning. 288, 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. 6-game hitting streak for Brian. Left-handed hitters actually are not hitting for as high a batting average against Lopez as right-handed batters.
And he's got a real good changeup and uses that effectively. I think that's why those numbers for lefties are down. I mean, lefties hitting 276, righties 317. Has that sinker changeup combination away to the lefties, and he doesn't really have a good put away breaking ball to right-handed hitters.
Bogusevic was born in Palos Heights, Illinois, in the Chicago area. Looking for his first hit against the Cubs. He is 0 for 11 in his career against this ball club. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bogey. During his 6-game hitting streak, he's 8 for 15. That's his career high. He's 10 for 23 in August for a 435 average. 1-2 for Lopez. Lopez against the Astros, 1-2 with a 5.34 ERA. You see Bogusevic on that road trip really heating it up, including his first major league homer in Arizona and 2 other hits that night. Jammed him with that one. Rodrigo started a game in Chicago against the Astros back on the 30th of May. He had a 6-3 lead, came away with a no decision. The Astros rallied to win it 12-7. He was tagged for 10 hits and 6 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. And he gets a strikeout on Bogasevic. Number 1 of the night for Rodrigo Lopez. He's 5th in wins among Mexican-born pitchers.
Well, trying to go down and in, and he throws a 2-seam runner up and away. He didn't make his pitch, but he got his man. Normally he's not going to try to elevate that fastball.
Rodrigo 115 for Baltimore in 0-2, 14 more in 0-4. It's Clint Barmas facing him now. Taking ball 1. Barmas tagged Lopez for a 2-run homer in Chicago on May 30th. Clint at 249 with 8 homers, has driven in 25. Fastball makes it 1-1. Fernando Valenzuela is the all-time leader among Mexican-born pitchers with 173 wins. Esteban Loaiza is second. Ishmael Valdez third. Teddy Higuera fourth. Out to the shortstop, Castro. 2 outs.
He got into Clint's kitchen pretty good right there. Teddy Higuera was a good one.
He was.
We just saw Fernando yesterday in L.A. He's doing radio for the Dodgers. There's that running similar to the pitch that he threw Bogasevic, only instead of running away, it's running in on the knuckles of Barmas.
Humberto Quintero, 268, 2 homers, 19 runs batted in, has a career high 11-game hitting streak. During that time, he's been a .325 hitter, going 13 for 40. Chop slowly to third. Aramis Ramirez with the throw to Carlos Pena, makes it a 1-2-3 second and a 2-0 Cubs lead.
MD Anderson Cancer Center making cancer history, and on this date in 1977, keyed by Art Howe's first inning grand slam and homers by Rob Sperring and pitcher J.R. Richard, Houston takes a lead over Atlanta 15-0. There's a rain delay. They won anyway, 15-3. By the way, don't forget, as you take a look at the fact that this was brought to you by MD Anderson Cancer Center, don't forget that tomorrow is Email the Booth. Guys will be answering questions on the pregame show. You can contact us at foxsportshouston@yahoo.com. We're always looking for some good questions. Or you can actually connect through Fox Game Connect. There's a spot to get on the email there. We need some good questions for JD and Brownie, some that will make them think.
Well, okay. We don't have any questions, do we?
Well, I don't have any for you tonight.
Okay. There's ball 1 to Castro. Checked his swing. He struck out in the first inning. Mentioned earlier, the Astros picked up 19-year-old outfielder Domingo Santana from the Phillies. He is 6'5" and 200. Good power hitter. He's going to Lexington. Rolled out to shortstop. Clint Barmas. Quick release, 1 out. Tal Smith was telling us that he scouted Santana. Very impressed with his power. And so that gives the Astros 2 power hitters as the take from that Hunter Pence trade. Jonathan Singleton the other. Singleton's playing at Lancaster in California. He's 19 as well as Santana. 2 very young players. And in addition, they got right-handed pitcher Jared Cosart, who's 21, and right-handed pitcher Josh Zed, who's 24. Darwin Barney walked and scored in the first. So that closes the book on that trade, with Santana the player to be named later. And the Astros had thrown out 4 names to the Phillies, and they accepted the fact that Houston could pick one of those 4. Round out the deal. Out to right center field. Bogusevic is back.
Yeah, that gives the Astros a little time to scout those players, just so they can kind of lock in on which player they wanted to get in return.
Time for a look at the Farmers Insurance report card. Aramis Ramirez coming to the plate. He's one of 5 players all time with 38 homers and 125 runs batted in against the Astros. Hank Aaron is the all-time leader. He hit 46 homers. Willie McCovey hit 44. Willie Stargell 43. That's off the mask of Quintero. And Tony Perez hit 40 with all those runs batted in, represented right there from those guys. So Aramis Ramirez is joining elite company.
Sure is. The other 4 all Hall of Famers. You gotta be careful of that first pitch. He just channeled one to Ramirez. He loves to swing at that first pitch.
Well, he did it first time up and got a sharp single. Now Matt Downs throws him out. And the 3rd inning goes quickly. So Sosa, if he can get past that first inning, is a different guy. It's 2-0 Cubs.
Giants at 7:05. The first 10,000 fans to the game will receive an Astros umbrella, courtesy of HEB. Get your tickets tonight at Astros.com. Not that the umbrellas will come in too handy lately, but there's hope, guys.
There's always hope, Patty.
I thought that was called an umbrella.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I learned when I moved to Texas.
Well,
it's not an umbrella, it's an umbrella.
Okay.
Good point.
I took it.
What would that be in Spanish, Patty?
Yeah.
Only you would know.
Let me get on that with my crack reporting skills.
Bumper shoot.
Henry Sosa's 0 for 1 with a sac bunt. And he takes strike 1 from Rodrigo Lopez as that youngster takes a big old sip.
He's got a goal in mind. He's going to finish that as fast as possible. Hey!
Line shot, left field line. Caught by a kid in the stands. Snagged it with a gloved hand.
Henry Sosa looking for a double. Too much hook.
Well, it's Castro who made all the plays in the first. Jersey on, caught that foul ball. Now a strikeout, number 2. Jason Bourgeois follows. He grounded out to Castro to open the Astros first.
It would be good for the Astros to get something going here sooner rather than later, because you're always wary of that hangover effect after a weekend like they had in Los Angeles, when you just can't get anything going offensively. But you got to change of venue. You're back home. A pitcher certainly, and I don't want to diminish Rodrigo Lopez. He's had a nice career, but he doesn't have the overpowering stuff that the Astros saw in L.A. But the longer you go before you get anything going, the more it becomes a mental thing in that dugout where you just can't score.
Strike one to Bourgeois.
And then you really start to press.
It's 1-1. Minnesota's at Detroit. They made a trade today. Delman Young going from the Twins to the Tigers. 2 balls and a strike. Young took the Twins bus from their hotel in the suburbs to Comerica Park, walked right by the visiting clubhouse and into the Tigers clubhouse, and some of those Tigers players didn't quite know what to make of that, but he's now their teammate.
Thought there was a spy amongst them. Being infiltrated.
Foul back, and it's 2-2. So the Tigers picked up a bat, but Twins have just scored 3 in the top of the 6th inning, and they lead Detroit 6-3.
I bet you the Twins had a clubhouse meeting to change their signs.
Detroit has won 12 of its last 13 against Minnesota. 8-1 this year. Bounced, and Lopez is there. 2 outs.
Hola, guys.
Oh, you found out?
I'm all over it, and we're going to look silly once I tell you what it is, because it's kind of obvious.
Umbrella?
Paraguas. Like for water. Paraguas.
Paraguas.
See. And silence. Strikes us all.
Gracias.
Paraguas.
Gracias.
De nada.
Altuve grounded out to shortstop earlier in the game. Began the night hitting .333. A-Rod, as a 21-year-old, hit .358. Albert Pujols .329. Ken Griffey Jr. .327. Gary Templeton .322. Boy, that pitch had some good sinking action on it. What was that, a changeup?
Changeup, yeah.
1-1. Some good arm action on that pitch.
He knows how to pitch. Pretty crafty out there, the Mexican Maddox.
Now breaking pitch makes it 1-2. Lopez came up to the big leagues in 2000 with San Diego. He was an 18-game loser with Baltimore in 06 before he became a Rocky. Chopped to short. Castro with the accurate play again. Castro's been tested, and he's come up fine every single time in this game. It's 2-0 Cubs after 3. got 2 in the first inning on a double by Carlos Pena. It's Pena leading it off here in the 4th. But since then, Sosa has retired 8 in a row. Pena puts it in the air, and the left fielder comes over. J.D. Martinez sprinting hard. Now he gets there. 1 pitch out for Sosa leading off the 4th inning. Cubs are 9th in runs scored in the National League. Well, lately, they've really been hitting the ball well. Going into Atlanta, winning 2 out of 3 against a good Braves team. Pat Listash coaching alongside Mike Quade.
Happy for Mike Quade because the knives are out in Chicago. A lot of the media screaming for his head. This isn't on him. He's got an older club, and guys were, for the most part, on the downsides of their careers, many of them. They need to shake some things loose over there, and I think they'll be okay.
Okay. Marlon Byrd takes ball 1. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, I do, but I'm not going to release guys. Don't feel comfortable firing other people.
You will not be going down into their clubhouse and handing out pink slips after the game tonight. You'll get the Turk to do it for you.
Yeah.
Is that what they call the guy they do in football? The guy who goes when players are getting cut to bring them into the coach's office.
In baseball, they don't have that.
That's ball 4 to Bird. Second walk for Sosa, and it's the same guy, so the players know when he comes toward them that they're cut.
Boy, that's a job you don't want.
No, nobody wants that job.
So what do they give that to a kind of a lower rung guy in the player personnel department?
Yes.
And it's just you have to be that guy for a couple of years before you move up.
Right. Here comes the Turk.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper.
Reed Johnson struck out in the first inning. Next Monday, the Astros will be in Colorado, as you know, J.D. Bad timing.
How come?
The Rockies have lost 17 straight games on Sunday.
How are they doing on Monday?
Oh, no. That's the longest Sunday losing streak since 1900.
Somebody keeps track.
It's hard to believe, but somebody does.
Starting pitchers take that game ball and pass it around like hot potato on Sunday. I don't want it. You take it.
Yeah, if you've started Tuesday, you're probably going to make yourself really small for that next start. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hey, Skip, I think I could need a day. I got a little something going on in my elbow here.
I think I'm going to have a virus by then. There's something going around.
That's one of the more bizarre ones I've ever heard. 17 consecutive Sundays.
2 balls and a strike. Tell Sosa spent some time in the workout room with that physique. And he was excited about getting this fresh start in a different organization. The Giants loaded with pitching, obviously, at the major league level. So he's at this spot, and he'll get a chance to impress tonight and then see where he stands for the next start.
Important time for him. He's 26 years of age, so it's not like he's a real young guy. Been pitching professionally for a few years now, so a golden opportunity.
Time called, and Johnson backs away. I mentioned the Cubs are 5-4 against the Astros, but kind of a crazy season series. The Astros swept the Cubs in Chicago in late May, and then went back the 3rd week in July, and the Cubs swept them. Two balls, 2 strikes. I'm just looking at the standings before the game tonight, JD. The Cubs have a .438 winning percentage. The Astros .314. So that's a difference of 124 percentage points. You see Milwaukee with a 5-game lead, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, then the drop off, and the American League East has a similar drop off between Toronto and Baltimore. 14 games difference between those two. And the appeal goes to first. It's a strikeout on Johnson. That's number 5. But the Blue Jays are 2 games over 500, and the Orioles are 46 and 72.
Reed Johnson has punched out twice now trying to check his swing. It's not a good night.
Alan Porter rang it up.
You feel better if you take a big healthy cut and miss, but when you're trying to check your swing, cannot, and you end up walking back to the dugout. It's 2 real empty trips for Reed Johnson.
51 pitches for Sosa. Tyler Colvin faces him now. He hit a fly ball to center, which was over in right center. That's strike 1. Jordan Lyles was the starter yesterday. He went 5 1/3 innings. Brad Mills was asked about Jordan before the game tonight. He said Jordan's pitched 143 2/3 innings this year. And the target, the cap that will probably be placed on him, is about 170. The Astros are going to look at some things they can do between starts to modify the routine for Jordan. We're going to discuss that tonight. Bouncer third. Tough play here for Downs. He throws and a stretch by Lee. Very well done by Downs. For the 3rd out in the top of the 4th inning with no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. Good play here as he crosses over near the bag and steps on the bag with the accurate throw. 2-0 Cubs.
Take part in the most interactive forum during Houston Astro games. Stats, trends, exclusive analysis, and live Twitter feeds. Plus, you can even share your thoughts with the game broadcast. Fox Sports Game Connect, now available on foxsportshouston.com. Guys?
We need questions on that for tomorrow night's pregame show, Patty.
Yes, we do. Bring it on, fans.
Okay. J.D. Martinez batting, 2-0 Cubs, bottom of the 4th. Line drive, left center field. J.D. out of the box around first base. The ball fielded cleanly by Bird. He takes a big turn and then retreats. He's 2 for 2.
Baby J.D. Talked so much about patient at bats, long at bats being quality at bats, but there's nothing wrong with going up there, seeing one you like, and putting a good swing on it. Lead off knock, especially when you've got a guy on the mound who has shown good command, that he's around the plate. Not going to work too many walks off Rodrigo Lopez.
That's a good start. Carlos Lee follows. He walked after the Martinez 2-out single in the 1st. There's strike 1. Brad Mills said that he feels Martinez is settling into this number 3 spot in the lineup. He's changing some of the other players in those other positions, but it sounded as if he wants to keep JD in that third spot. Carlos with a drive to right center field, not deep. Bird is there. One out. And Matt Downs will bat next. Story by Brian McTaggart tonight on MLB.com about the Astros ownership situation, and Drayton McClain remains confident the sale of the team to Jim Crane's group will be approved by his fellow owners, despite the postponement of the ownership vote. Brian McTaggart.
Drayton is saying it's not a matter of if, but when it'll get done.
And Allison Footer taking just a brief moment from their writing chores to flash us a smile. Matt Downs had a bouncer to short. There's ball one.
Brian McTaggart is quite the singer of Irish songs.
Haven't heard him sing. So when Irish eyes are smiling and
all that good stuff, Celtic Thunder kind of stuff.
Has he put together a CD?
I think there's one coming out.
Good, good. We'll have to play it one of these nights. Background music. Line drive over first base, inside the right field line. Martinez first to third, Downs into second, and the throw gets away from Castro, and now Martinez will score to make it 2-1.
That's just what the doctor ordered. Get on the board. Make a little something happen.
Good hustle from both players.
Solid line drive single by Martinez. Soft little flare, but well placed by Matt Downs. And then Castro cannot handle the throw from Colvin there at second base. He had a shot at Downsy. Castro cannot catch it, cannot knock it down. JD stays with the play, finds the ball, sees it kick loose, and sprints home.
It's ruled a double for Downs, his 12th of the year. And there'll have to be an error there, allowing the run to score. Bogusevic, the batter, he struck out earlier. It's an E9. Colvin picking up his first error of the year, allowing Martinez to score. 1-0 to Bogey with Barmas on deck. Pick off at second, and whoa, that was a good throw. Downs just made it back in. Ron Culpa with the call. Looks like he got it.
Couldn't make a better throw. My goodness.
Was that close?
Right on the pinky.
Really close.
Yeah. He may have had him.
He might have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that was, he just got the back corner of the bag.
Made it by a knuckle, maybe. Fly ball, center field. Bird. But Downs going to tag. Has it. Throws to third. Downs is coming. Throw goes into the bag, and Downs is out.
Base running.
And that's a double play from 8-5 to end the Astros' fourth. They settle for one run with 2 hits, 1 error, and Bird gets the outfield assist. 2-1 Cubs. the game is brought to you by United, proud to fly the Houston Astros. Including tonight, Astro rookie pitchers have made a franchise record 222 appearances. This is number 2 for Henry Sosa. He trails 2-1 facing Giovanni Soto, and that's ball 1 to him. Double play to end the 4th inning, giving Marlon Byrd his 5th outfield assist with Downs gunned down at 3rd. Tagging on the fly ball by Bogasevic.
Bad decision there by Matt. Don't want to make that 3rd out at 3rd base. I think he's just feeling a little fresh after beating that throw at 2nd, beating the pickoff.
Line shot left center. Bourgeois over to backhand the ball. Now he drops it and now drops it again. As Soto is into 2nd base.
So the base running mistakes ends the bottom half of the inning, and then the Cubs come right out and strike quickly with a leadoff. I'm guessing double. Yeah, they rule it a double for Soto. Jason does a nice job cutting it off before it can get to the wall, but Soto likely would have had a double even with a clean handle out there by Bourgeois. Lopez is going to look to bunt him over. And Millsy wants to talk strategy with his infielders, how to defend the Soto. Not a speedy guy there at 2nd base, so Mills wants to make sure everybody's on board with what they're thinking is how aggressive they want to be to try to make a play on Soto.
Ivan De Jesus, the 3rd base coach, comes down to talk with Lopez. We look at the breakdown of rookie appearances. Mario Del Rosario on the disabled list right now leads with 44, Escalona 43, and so on down the line.
The wild card in all this is that Lopez handles the bat pretty well. You want to be aggressive, and Carlos is way in at 1st base. Downs will try to hold his ground at 3rd. Lopez will have responsibility, or Sosa, excuse me, to kind of come in and cover the 3rd base line.
Carlos Lee creeping in. Lopez takes pickoff throw to 2nd, and that's a good idea to keep Soto thinking that maybe a bigger lead is not where he wants to go.
Yeah, this is a fun play. There's no force in order here. That's the other thing, you know, if this ball is bunted fairly before you make that throw, you got to remember it's a tag play.
Bunted, and Carlos Lee bare hand throwing to 3rd. There's the tag, and it's good for out number 1. Good play by Carlos Lee, barehanding and getting it early to Downs. 3-5, 1 out.
If there's such a thing as team defense in baseball, that's a great example of it there. Quintero's arm keeps Soto a little short out there at 2nd. Can't afford to get too big of a lead. Downs does his job by reading the ball, retreating to the base. Sosa's job is just throw a strike. And then Carlos makes the play.
Well done. Both ends there, and now the pitcher's at 1st. Failing to sacrifice. Nonetheless, he's smiling. And it is Castro batting. He is struck out and grounded out to short.
There's a bunter there. You're really trying to bunt the ball down the 3rd baseline. Straight sacrifice situation with a man on 1st. You're not trying to be too precise. You just want to make sure you get it out away from the catcher. Normally that would get the job done. But when you're trying to sacrifice a man to 3rd base, especially a slow-footed one, you really want to try to direct that ball towards 3rd base.
Castro takes that pitch upstairs, running the count to 2-0. Drayton McClain said that this ownership deal for the Astros would have already been completed had Major League Baseball not had to spend a great deal of time dealing extensively with the Dodgers, who are in bankruptcy. 2 balls, 1 strike. The owners are meeting in Cooperstown this week. And he chases that high one. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Castro. We checked, by the way, for Oklahoma City, and the Red Hawks are playing tonight. Jay Happ is not their starting pitcher. Dallas Keuchel is starting for them tonight. Line drive left field, in for a hit. Martinez over to pick it up. Lopez to second on the single by Castro. Hit number 158. He's on a pace for about 210 hits this season.
That swing right there helps to explain why they pitched him the way they did in his first at bat. All those sliders away. That time a fastball up and in a little bit, and he just whacked it into left. A lot of movement running in on him, but he still has the ability to pull the hands in and get enough of the barrel on that one.
Good looking young player. Barney, who walked and scored and fly to right, fouls at strike one. Barney's been the number 2 hitter 71 times this year for the Cubs. Takes that one. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. That can be a lot of skill involved in hitting second, and if done right, advancing runners, things of that nature. Not necessarily a high batting average, but just fitting in quite well, not striking out a whole lot. That would be the role of a number 2 hitter. Of course, if you can get a guy who can hit for high average and avoid hitting into double plays, that's great. Not everybody can.
Yeah, I think the primary job, you want on base guys in front of RBI guys. So you want your 1 and 2 guys to be high on base percentage guys if possible, and then let your 3, 4, 5 hitters drive them in. But those other skills are nice in that 2-hole. Guy who could take pitches to let a speedy guy steal bases if you have one of those.
He swung and struck out on appeal to Alan Porter. 6 strikeouts now for Sosa.
Good lively fastball. Didn't look like much of a swing. Maybe from this angle. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. 2 outs, and it's Ramirez. Ramirez singled in the first inning, grounded out in the third. Giants lead the Braves in Atlanta 3-2, bottom of the 7th inning. Popped up. Quintero right there near home plate. 2 in the top of the 5th inning, and the play at third was a key. No runs, 2 hits, a runner left, couple men left. It's 2-1 Cubs.
There's a look at Jose Altuve, and my progressive fans of the game out here, Brooke and Vanessa, are big Altuve fans. They've got the signs. They love Jose. Brooke, why? Why is Altuve your hero?
Because he's short and he's really good.
He's short. Now, if he was tall, does that mean you wouldn't have a sign for him?
Well, I get called short a lot, so I like him because he's short.
So you can relate. And you play softball as well?
Yes.
For?
The Seabrook Surge.
And what position?
Catcher and shortstop.
Shortstop. And then, Vanessa, you're a shortstop too, right? And you're also a big Jose Altuve fan. Why? Why are you such a Jose Altuve fan?
I don't know, just because I think he's the cutest player out there.
All right, that's my girls. They think he's cute. He is just adorable. We were talking about him at batting practice today. You just want to put him in your pocket and take it home.
Yeah.
All right, well, these guys are our progressive fans of the game. Compliments of Jose Altuve. Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Patty invoking applause. Altuve watching. It's 2-1. The Cubs lead it. Barmas leading it off. Home 5th inning.
Yeah, he's going to be a fan favorite of many.
You bet he is. He gets the breaking pitch. Ball 1 to Clint, who popped a short in the 2nd inning. Quintero and Sosa to follow here in the Astros 5th. One ball and one strike with Clint fouling that one. He's a 192 career hitter against the Cubs.
Well, the Brewers have one hit tonight. It's a solo home run by Ryan Braun, and so far it's good enough to lead the Dodgers 1-0. Randy Wolf is dealing again tonight.
Milwaukee trying to pull away. Line shot, left center field gap. Barmas is headed for second. Third with a sliding play will not be able to prevent the double. Number 20 for Barmas. And the Astros now, this second time through the order, are getting better swings.
That's with a little two-seam fastball to the outside edge, and Clint just leans out there and yanks it towards the alley in left center.
That's hit number 4. 2 of them doubles off Lopez. 20 of those for Barmas. He's in scoring position for Quintero, who grounded to third in the 2nd.
Situation normally you would think, well, get him over and get him in, but with the pitcher on deck, Q's thinking should be just, I'm going to try to drive this run in. I'm not looking to sacrifice myself in any way just to advance the base runner here.
In on him, and the appeal goes to first. Check swing call that time by Porter. It's 1-1.
Taking that first pitch for strike one. He swings at the first pitch as much as just about anybody in the league. He's immediately shaking. Nope, I did not go.
That was foul back. It's 1-2. In that Giant Brave game, 3-2 Giants, bottom of the 7th inning. Nate Schierholtz hit his 9th homer off Tim Hudson. A solo shot, of course. Madison Bumgarner pitching for San Francisco. Brian McCann hit number 19.
Schierholtz a very good outfielder. He's starting to hit for a little power.
He is. Carlos Beltran is sidelined with an injury. He might be going on the DL. That's a 4-game series. Tim Lincecum will pitch Thursday night, meaning the Astros will not be facing him here this weekend. In fact, the Giants are starting the 4 guys who started the 4 World Series games for them last year. So the Braves are up against it, but Tim Hudson, who has pitched really well this year, is up to the task so far, down just 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. We've had a milestone tonight. Jim Thome has hit a pair to reach the 600 home run plateau. Wow, only the 8th player to do that.
Congratulations. Pretty much punched his ticket to Cooperstown.
Yeah, he's been a solid player down through the years. And very well, one of the most popular players, extremely well liked. Quintero fouls it. He's on deck.
He's got him in swing mode. Crawford at that breaking ball well off the plate. Now this fastball running up and in on him.
Nice gesture for the little Cub fella. Well, just got a blue shirt on.
He's got his Cub hat on backwards. He's trying to disguise himself.
He's a little Izod fan. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. That's big for Lopez because now the pitcher comes up and the runner has not been advanced. And strikeout number 3.
Last 3 swings, all that pitches out of the strike zone.
Sosa struck out in the 3rd inning. Pittsburgh leads St. Louis 5-2. They're in the bottom of the 7th at PNC Park. Xavier Paul and Ryan Doman have gone deep. Line shot to left field. Johnson diving, and he made the catch. Tremendous play by Johnson, diving toward the line, robbing Sosa.
The most interesting man in the world coming up big for Rodrigo Lopez. A run-saving catch as he lays out. It's been a tough night for him at the plate with a couple of punch-outs, but he just earned his paycheck. Mike Quade will allow him to participate in the post-game spread after all, after that effort.
When in Rome, the Romans do as he does. Fantastic play by Johnson.
And it looks like Henry Sosa is going to be able to swing the bat a little bit.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. I mean, that's
hit the foul line drive caught by the fan first time up. Now this one looked like a double off the bat. Released the long single. And now that preserves a 1-run lead, but Jason Bourgeois has a chance. He's bounced out twice.
So if those scores hold up, the Cardinals will be 6 games behind the Brewers if it holds up. And boy, time's running out on the Cardinals. If they fall that far back, you just start playing that game. If the Brewers play just a couple games over 500,
right?
What do the Cardinals have to do to beat them? And it looks fairly daunting.
I think they have a couple series left with each other. That pitch is a strike call, 1-1. If Milwaukee wins that game, the Brewers are 20 games over 500. And you see the Phillies have a big 9-game lead on Atlanta. And Arizona 2 up on San Francisco. Arizona just losing a starting pitcher yesterday, Jason Marquis. He's out for the year with a broken bone in his leg.
I'm not sure what the Diamondbacks gave up to get Jason, but he made what? Two really bad starts and then broke his leg or broke his ankle, whatever he did. That's just not.
There's one story about
work out too good.
No, it didn't. Buster Olney of ESPN writes that the Diamondbacks apparently have called up left-handed pitcher Wade Miley, who's been doing well at AAA. And he may get the first shot at replacing Marquis. Foul back, and then they have another alternative. Their first draft choice this year, Trevor Bauer. He was the number 3 pick in the draft. He made his first start in AA on Sunday, and he dominated. And in 5 innings, he struck out 8. So he could come up rather than give up prospects in a deal. In tight, and it would seem that the Diamondbacks, even though they have a great opportunity in front of them, still have the future very much in mind as far as not wanting to part with some of those top young players in their organization. So they could have a difficult choice to make here. Fly ball goes to left center field. Marlon Byrd over. In the 5th, leadoff double does not turn out to be a scoring situation for the Astros, and it's 2-1 Cubs.
Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new Jumbo Breakfast Platter for just $2.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Gullo Automotive, treating you like family. Now back upstairs to the booth, Bill Brown and Jim Shays.
Home run alley. It's a good place to take a stroll. Thank you, Greg Lucas. We go to the 6th inning. It's a tight 2-1 ball game. The Cubs leading it. Cubs got 2 in the first on a Pena double. Pena leads off here in the 6th inning. He led off the 4th with a fly ball to left. And once again, a ground ball going for the first pitch. Altuve out in shallow right field throws him out. So both times in the 4th and 6th innings since the 2-run double, he's gone down on 1 pitch.
And Ramirez is offered at the first pitch all night long, too. And that's generally Ramirez's game plan. Pena is usually a more patient hitter. So this may just be a function of what they know about Sosa and what they've seen, that they're up there looking for a ball in the zone early and willing to swing at it. It's an interesting situation to be in as a hitter, because you know they have had some pretty good pitches to swing at, but if you don't do anything with them, it makes it awfully easy on the pitcher. 1 pitch outs.
Strike to Marlon Byrd. He has struck out and walked. Sosa's been able to keep his pitch count low at 70 for the game. He went 6 innings in Arizona in his major league debut. That's a shot off the mound into center field. Sharp single by Byrd. Hit number 5 for the Cubs. Reed Johnson will be next. Johnson has struck out both times tonight in the 1st and 4th innings.
Check swings both times. If he does that again, he'll definitely will have tied a major league record.
Minnesota now leads Detroit at Comerica Park 9-6 in the top of the 8th inning. Jim Thome's 2 homers help bring the Twins back to the leadership. Delman Young paid immediate dividends after being traded from Minnesota to Detroit by homering for the Tigers tonight. Victor Martinez adding number 7, Ryan Rayburn his 11th.
What a deal. Dave Dombrowski's a genius.
Yes, isn't he?
Another check swing. He's not seeing that slider at all.
Nope.
From Sosa.
Might get it again here on 0-2. Yankees lead at Kansas City 2-0. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning with A.J. Burnett on the mound.
Couldn't fault him for throwing him another slider here. But it's also a time where you might be able to just lock him up with a fastball, because the hitter's so concerned with that slider he's been flailing at all night long. You might just be able to slip a heater right by him.
True. Milwaukee 1, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the 6th with the Ryan Braun homer holding up his 23rd. We got a chance to see that Cardinal game on the flight back from Los Angeles last night. Saw the long Pujols homer. That was the longest in the history of the new Busch Stadium. Cardinals 65-56 though, and as JD mentioned, if they're going to win this division, it would appear they need to get in high gear pretty quickly. Foul back.
Just glancing at the standings, there's still about 13 teams that have a legitimate shot at the postseason, which that's good for baseball this late in the year. You still got that many teams in the mix.
Sure. Seems like fewer though this year than has been. Foul ball. Tomorrow night it's Myers and Dempster here. 7:05 the starting time. 6:30 for Astros Live. Wednesday is a My 20 telecast. coming on the air at 1 o'clock. Coleman and Norris. Casey Coleman has not been called up yet by the Cubs. Coleman is at AAA Iowa, but the plan is, as we're hearing tonight, is to call him up for the game Wednesday. They have a reliever, Scott Main, in their bullpen, who was called up today. He might be going back down, or somebody would be, or going on the DL or something like that to make Coleman on Wednesday, it seems. So the Cubs have 4 southpaws in their bullpen for this game. Colvin on deck with a count 1-2, and Mike Waddy's team has been churning out runs lately. Finishing up their 6-game road trip here before going back to Wrigley Field. Pirates now have a 6-2 lead over St. Louis. They're going, and there's a flare over second baseman Altuve into shallow center field. Bird running to third. Bourgeois' throw goes into second on the single by Johnson. He just threw the bat head at it and looped it out into shallow center for a single.
Talk about putting a hitter in swing mode after punching out twice already. Johnson not going to let anything go by that he could reach, and this ball way off the plate, right off the end of the bat. But because it was elevated, he didn't really have to go down and get it, and he just punches it into shallow center.
After whiffing twice, he makes contact, and something good happened for him. Now Colvin is 0 for 2. Doug Brocail would love to see a double play ball here with a 2-1 ball game and the Cubs leading. That's strike one.
It's a long swing well behind that 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Florida leads 2-1 at Colorado. They're in the bottom of the third. Mike Stanton hit his 27th. Ramon Ortiz is warming up for Chicago. Snap throw to first. Save.
Johnson spun his wheels a little bit trying to get back, and they almost got him. Takes his secondary lead and just didn't quite get great traction, but he was safe. Good call. Carlos putting that big foot down there trying to keep him off the base.
Goes over to first. The Rangers are out west playing the Angels later tonight with a 4-game lead over Los Angeles. And Alexi Ogando going. He's won both of his starts against the Angels this year. So it's time for California for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim to make a move. It would appear if they're going to do so. They're 4 back in their home ballpark tonight, where they're 32-25. Not a great home record.
Interesting team. They don't score a lot of runs, but they can really pitch. The Rangers are a much more balanced team.
They're 5-4 against the Rangers. The Angels are. 2 double plays hit into at 27 chances. That's a low percentage. This one's in the air to center, shallow. Bourgeois coming in. Bird at third base. Not a deep fly ball. He'll hold as the throw comes in offline. And it's out number 2. It was so shallow, though. Bird holding his position, and now it's Soto, the number 8 hitter, coming up.
Colvin, you saw that the low double play percentage. He's got a little bit of an uppercut swing, gets that low ball in the air. Bird just bluffing down the line to draw the throw, and you could say, well, if he comes further down and then reads that errant throw, offline throw, maybe he could score. But if he drifts too far down, puts himself in peril of Carlos cutting the ball off and just getting him at third as he tries to scramble back.
That makes Soto a big hitter here for Sosa in a 1-run game. Soto doubled in the 5th. Ball one with Lopez on deck.
Yeah, so that would be the strategy here, not to give in to Soto.
There is a reliever warming up. Pull it foul. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. I mentioned A.J. Burnett pitching tonight for the Yankees, shutting out Kansas City so far 2-0 through 4.5, and in desperate need of turning his season around. He's 0-3 with an ERA of 6 in his last 7 starts. 2-1, but the Yankees are doing quite well. Although many people expected them to go out and get somebody in a deal, they're a half game behind Boston. They say they're not going to go out and acquire anybody. Off the plate for a ball. Now count on Soto's 3-1. There's a tight race in the AL East. Tampa Bay 9 out. The wild card is really looking like it goes to whoever doesn't win the AL East. An 8.5 game edge for New York right now. Ground ball third. That's a fair ball. That'll get Barton home to make it 3-1 Cubs. Johnson running hard to third base. It gets loose in the corner. Johnson's going to score, and it's a 2-run double for Soto. A big 2-out hit here in the 6th inning, giving the Cubs a 4-1 advantage. 20th double for Soto, giving him 37 runs batted in for the year.
Well, you nailed it, Brownie. With the action in the Cubs bullpen, Brad Mills could not be assured that Mike Quade wouldn't pinch hit for Rodrigo Lopez had he walked Soto to load the bases. In all likelihood, he would have. Even though Lopez is pitching pretty well, he's a guy that typically, hey, give me 5 or 6 innings and I'll go to my pen. That's why they pitched to Soto in that circumstance.
Strike to Lopez. Lopez is 0 for 2. Soto providing a very big hit there, his 2nd double of the night. Hit number 7 for the Cubs. Now 1-1.
It's like, it would be nice to, if you're Brad Mills, I would be tempted to call Quade after the game, kind of like a poker player after the hand. Show me your cards. What are we going to do, Mike? Are you going to hit for him? Please tell me you're going to hit for him, so I feel better about my thinking.
Exactly. 2-1 to count. Quade, of course, saddled with a lot of problems earlier this season, but now the Cubs are in a very nice stretch. Players seem to have welcomed the move to put Zambrano on the disqualified list.
Yeah, I think you can only put up with so much drama, especially when you're 15 games below 500. If you're in a pennant race and you got a guy who's still a contributing player who's capable of going out and winning games for you, you put up with maybe a little bit more.
The first pitch is good for a strike.
In the situation that the Cubs are in and the Astros are in, it's about looking to the future, getting the right mix of players, having a culture in the clubhouse of winning, working hard.
I was hearing that Carlos Pena has been very good on that front for the Cubs, creating that kind of a culture.
Yeah, I heard he's a real solid pro.
He's on a 1-year deal. The Cubs, by cutting loose Zambrano and maybe some other moves they might make, could be freeing up quite a bit of money to spend over the winter on free agents.
They're still going to have to pay Zambrano. They still have to pay, whether if they get rid of Soriano, he's owed a bunch of money. I mean, they can get rid of the people, but I don't think they can get rid of the money.
Unless Zambrano does, in fact, retire, which he says now he's not going to
do. No way he's retiring. He's not going to leave $22 million on the table.
Chopped up the middle. Barmas cuts over. Makes the throw to first. And in the 6th inning, the Cubs add to their lead with 2 runs, 3 hits, and a man stranded. 4-1 Chicago.
Trivia. If you get this one right, we'll have a giant bell for you tonight. Mike Quade is the 5th band to manage in the major leagues with a name beginning with the letter Q. Just name 2 of the other 4.
Wow. Q managers.
Let's see, did Jamie Quirk manage in the big leagues?
That is correct, but I'm going to wait till you get
Look at that bell.
To rob a church?
This ball.
Look at that bell.
This bell is from Joe Russell. This was owned by Alan Russell, her husband, the longtime baseball executive here in the state of Texas. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll hear this in Katy.
You could call the Moose Club to order for that baby.
Yeah, I get. Okay, we got one more to answer. You got it right, Jamie Quirk.
Jamie Quirk, like an interim thing?
Yeah, 2001, Kansas City.
Did Frank Quillisi ever manage?
And my goodness, it's time.
Ring the bell. Yes. Wow, that is something, that bell.
We are both retiring, by the way.
They got 2. That's all they had to get. But I'll tell you what the other were. Mel Queen in Toronto in '97, Frank Quillisi and Joe Quinn, and you would have never gotten him. It was in 1895. But here's the official answers. There's all 4: Jamie Quirk, Mel Queen, Frank Quillisi, and Joe Quinn. And that's the latter one's the one where I wasn't asking for all 4.
Would you say we were quick in getting that response?
You were quick and had no quirks.
Oh.
Well, you had a quirk.
We have a few of those.
Yeah, well, you got the right one. So Mike Quade is number 4. And thank you, Joe Russell, for this bell. It will not travel, so it isn't going to drive a certain couple pitchers nuts. But maybe for home games, maybe it might even ring it after victories at home.
Home bell, yeah.
Yeah, home bell.
Alan Russell, as a lot of longtime baseball fans know, ran the Houston Buffs here for many years.
There it is.
There's a replay of the bell. Nice.
That is one fine bell.
Yes, it is.
Altuve, Martinez, and Lee here in the Houston 6th inning with the Cubs up 4-1. Altuve twice has grounded at shortstop. Alan Russell, very hard worker. He did a lot for professional baseball in this area in his years with the Buffs. And he was known when it was raining quite a bit and he had to get a ball game in at their stadium to light the infield on fire, burn off some of that water.
Yeah, I remember doing that. We used to do that in the spring of the year all the time.
Really? Mm-hmm. David Carpenter's warming up for Houston. And they air-conditioned the ladies' restrooms at Old Buff Stadium to make it more comfortable for the patrons back in those days. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Carpenter gets ready.
What about the guys' restrooms?
Don't think they
no
got
AC for the men?
No, they didn't get that kind of help.
Just to hang with them.
Right. It's 2-1.
Wonder how many dogs jump up and run to the door at home when people are watching our games on TV when that bell rings.
We don't have any reports on that at all. Castro drops it, and he won't get an out. Altuve reaching on the error, number 20 by Castro, who was so good earlier in this game.
It's like Jose said, I'm just going to keep trying Castro. Sooner or later, he's going to misplay one. That's the third consecutive time he's hit the ball to Castro, and this was the easiest play he probably had to make tonight. And that's kind of the book on him. You know, he's got great range, good hands, but sometimes he gets caught a little flat-footed on a routine ball. Instead of moving through the ball, he sits back on it and kind of gets out of rhythm here. I mean, he's in a good position. He gets his backside down. Just clanked it.
Well, the Astros have an opening. Second Cub error of the night. It's Martinez batting. He's 2 for 2. Taking ball one.
Looks like he's seeing the ball very well tonight off of Lopez. So this is a real important at bat right here. The Astros down 3, and you got the guy who seems to be in the best spot to inflict some damage off Lopez up there right now.
The Cubs made 4 errors yesterday, but they won the game 6-5 in Atlanta.
Made 4 errors, struck out 18 times, and still won the ball game. A 9-inning game. That is pretty darn impressive. So you got to turn the page, young man. Don't be out there rolling your eyes and looking up the sky. You're all right. You're an all-star.
James Russell's warming up for the Cubs, one of their 4 lefties in the pen. That's a strike, and it's 2-1 to Martinez with Carlos Lee on deck as we look at Russell. Alex Rodriguez was the last player to hit 600 homers before Jim Thome did it with 2 tonight. There goes. Line shot is hooking and going foul. Altuve had a good jump too.
It was a change up, and right now Lopez just kind of not literally scratching his head, but he's out there in deep thought thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure this guy out? He's just putting good swings on me. That close. An RBI double.
Put a tail on that ball. Very aggressive swing. Giants third baseman Pablo Sandoval had to leave the game tonight against Atlanta in the first inning with an apparent right foot injury. Fouled a pitch off the foot.
X-rays were negative though, so
okay,
it'll be all right.
That's good. A lot of fans want to see him here this weekend.
A broken paw for the Panda.
Ooh, that throw as he slept almost got by, but Pena came off the bag to block it. We'll see Lopez slip on this throw.
Hit Altuve.
Might have. Well, he drilled him. Four hits for the Astros, 7 for the Cubs tonight. Foul back. Still 2-2 to J.D. Martinez.
He's tried slider away. He's tried change up. He's tried fastball up.
Martinez with 14 runs batted in 11 games. Trying for his third hit of the game.
And another slider. This would be a time if you had a big old slow Roy Oswalt curveball, you'd be tempted to break it out. And Soto, he's in the same spot as Lopez. He's trying to figure out a way to put Martinez away here. What do you want to do, buddy?
Lopez has thrown 78 pitches tonight. Diamondbacks have signed a pair of top draft picks today. There's supplemental first-round pick Andrew Chafin and second-rounder Anthony Mio. Getting close to that 11 p.m. Central deadline for signing. It's 3-2.
Lopez thought he had made a pitch, but as you saw there on Fox Tracks, that fastball was off the plate inside a little bit. Well, you know, when it's going to come down to these first-round picks, you know, they're either going to get a lot of money that the club offers them, a little bit more than a lot that they're asking for, or the third option is zero, and that's the wild card in all this.
Yes,
if you don't sign, there's no plan B.
And there may be a different setup for the draft next year. It might not be quite as lucrative. We don't know that. But those are the rumors about a strict slotting system next year. So if you go back into the draft for next year, you may not be making as much as you're offered this year. And then you've missed out on a year of playing ball in the professional ranks unless you want to go to independent ball.
And then the inherent risks of injuries that come with that.
Good point. Insurance is required if you go that route. Ball 4.
Great at that.
It was.
And you know, we talked about it last time. If he jumped on the first pitch for a base hit in the fourth, what a good approach he showed there. And here, very patient, worked the walk. Kind of hitter that's going to see a lot of pitches. He made Lopez work awfully hard there before ultimately drawing that walk.
Pena came over from first. Perhaps a little pep talk. It's Carlos Lee who walked and hit a fly ball to center. He can tie this one with a long ball. Carlos has driven in 101 in his career against Cubs pitching with those 36 long balls. Big cut there, and it's strike 1.
Nothing wrong with swinging hard as long as you're swinging at strikes, and this was in the strike zone. Down 3, a big mighty rip there trying to tie the ball game. It's part of the job description of the cleanup man.
Sure is. Downs is on deck. Popped up. Infield fly called. Barney handles it, 1 out. That's a big one for Lopez. Now Downs hit a pop fly double inside the right field line in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. The Giants have concerns about one of their relief pitchers, Sergio Romo. Has a sore throwing elbow, has not pitched since Tuesday. He might be going on the disabled list. And he's been one of the keys in their bullpen. So the Astros may not have to face him this weekend. He has 53 strikeouts and 4 walks this season.
That's pretty good.
There's strike 1.
He's the guy that had the long consecutive hitters retired streak, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Something like 30 in a row. Had his own personal perfect game over the stretch of several appearances in relief. It's 1-1.
Lopez not out of the woods yet. Matt Downs also possesses a pretty good home run bat. He stayed away on Lee and likely will try to do the same here with Matt.
One and 2.
A little change up there. I think, you know, sliders, fastballs away, change ups down. Any fastball in would be just for show, way in off the plate. It's fairly typical there of Lopez. Likes to keep the ball down around the knees.
That's lifted out to left center field. In for extra bases. Altuve scores. Martinez legging it around third. He's coming to the plate. And it's a 2-run double for Downs. 4-3 ball game as Downs comes through with his second extra base hit of the night. That's 13 doubles now for Matt and 25 runs batted in.
There's a little redemption for that base running miscue. Great swing of the bat there, and the Astros right back in it. And a chance to tie the game with one more base hit. Lopez goes fastball down, but over the middle of the plate.
Very good swing. Powerful result.
I think Castro did not go out far enough either on the relay. If he goes out a little bit to get that ball from Bird, they might have had a shot at Martinez.
The Astros have scored 1 run in 3 games over the weekend. Now trail 4-3. This call to the bullpen is presented by Verizon Wireless. Rodrigo Lopez out of the game. We're back in a moment. With Matt Downs representing the potential tying run at second after that 2-run double.
Yeah, he got a low fastball, but not quite low enough, and over the middle of the plate, and delivering a very big hit.
Now we have changes on the mound with Downs at second base. It's lefty James Russell and a pinch hitter for Brian Bogusevic, giving the Astros Jason Michaels a right-handed bat. Russell's 1-5. His ERA 4.24.
Fastball, slider, curve change.
Brings the slider in. There's strike 1 to J. Mike.
And not a power guy. He's more of a finesse guy. Relies heavily on the breaking stuff.
Michaels went 1 for 8 on the road trip. He was 0 for 5 in the Dodgers series over the weekend. That breaking pitch foul.
Ugly finder.
Jeff Samardzija
was in the dugout.
Just above.
Wow, that is scary.
Samardzija warming up for the Cubs. Russell, the son of Jeff Russell, a right-handed reliever who pitched for 5 different major league clubs. James, 25 years old, a 14th round pick in 07 by the Cubs. Michaels 0 for 2 against this lefty in his career. It's 1-2. The Astros could use a pinch hit right here.
Russell made a few starts earlier this year for the Cubs. And didn't go so good. Out of the pen, he's been really good.
Michaels 5 for 34, 1 RBI as a pinch hitter. Turn back towards second. 200 overall with a couple of homers. He's driven in 9. Varmus is on deck. Now the count runs to 2-2.
And this is a 6th inning against the Cubs is go for it time when you're behind, because the guys at the back of the bullpen, Marshall and Marmol in particular, awfully tough to come back on. Marmol has had his problems this year because of his command, but Still awfully tough to deal with. Kerry Wood's out there as well.
Strikeout, 2 outs. Russell getting J. Mike to chase.
Get him to expand his zone. You see why our Fox tracks there, only one in the strike zone in that sequence. So that's classic pitching, right? Throw strike one and then expand.
Clint Barmas comes up. He got a double in the 5th inning to left center. He's 1 for 2.
Trying the same approach, trying that little backdoor get over slider. That time he missed.
Brian Wilson's on the mound for the Giants, trying to close out the Braves. 4-3, bottom of the 9th. 1 run has scored so far for Atlanta. Two balls, no strikes. He just struck out Dan Uggla. I think the bases are loaded there. Now Barmas can hope for one right in the hitting zone here. Quintero's on deck. He didn't get it, and he took ball 3.
No, Russell's going to be willing to start fresh in a new count as opposed to give in a hitter's count. He may throw a cookie here on 3-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to backdoor slider here.
Right there for a strike, and it's 3-1. He throws another one of those, Clint will jump all over it. Fly ball to left center field. Bird over and calling to end the Astros 6th inning. An inning in which they scored 2 runs on 1 hit with an error and a man left. It's 4-3 Cubs after 6. Packard game summary, and here it is right on the touchpad. Sosa has allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings. Soto 2 for 3, a couple of doubles, 2 runs batted in. JD Martinez with a big night, 2 for 2, a walk. He has scored twice, and it's a 1-run lead for the Cubs. The Astros have made changes now after 6. Jason Michaels, after pinch hitting for Bogasevic, stays in to play right field. And the new pitcher is the rookie right-hander David Carpenter from West Virginia. He is 0-2, JD.
Well, Henry Sosa's line somewhat similar to last time out, 6 innings, 4 runs. And the story of Henry Sosa tonight very similar too. Got roughed up early, gave up 3 last time in the first. Tonight it was 2. But he showed some good things. Punched out 6. Pretty good looking slider. So I would say so far so good for Sosa.
Yep.
Nothing glittering, but pretty solid.
Kept the club in the game both times. Now Carpenter ready for the 7th inning, and Castro to lead it off. Castro singled in the 5th. David pitched yesterday in Los Angeles, 2/3 of an inning, allowing 2 hits, no runs in the 7-0 Dodger win. He got the loss in the 10th inning Friday night, 1-0. Castro taking ball 1.
Would you not be trying to deal for this guy if you were the Florida Marlins, to have Starlin the Marlin on your club to build around?
Yeah, especially with the Logan Morrison situation. Yeah, need a fresh start. 1-1 with lefty Sergio Escalona in the pen. And Fernando Rodriguez also. It's 2-1. Kind of a weird deal with Logan Morrison. They sent him down to the minors. There are the 2 pitchers we mentioned, Escalona and Rodriguez. And Morrison very, very unhappy about the way that whole deal evolved. And has gone public with several things this year. Apparently the Fish didn't like that. And didn't always agree to make all the appearances they wanted him to make. But they said it was his .240 batting average. And they just didn't see him as a .240 hitter, and that's why they wanted him to go to the minor league.
They're trying to get him to refocus a little. He's a big Twitter guy. And there's nothing wrong with guys being on Twitter, but like 60,000 followers. And,
wow.
He's getting a lot of run, you know. It seems maybe his focus just wasn't on the field as much as they'd prefer.
It's almost as many as Allison Footer has.
Especially when Jack McKeon's your manager. You know, Jack McKeon probably has no clue what Twitter is.
Remember that line from earlier this year? One of the players said, well, I'm going to go home and Twitter. And he said, well, how is your dog anyway?
No.
Strike to Darwin Barney. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. It's 1-1. Really, that would be, I'm going to go home and tweet, right? That would be the correct.
Tweet is the verb, yeah.
So, just want to make sure we get that right.
So the last thing you want to do is be accused of being out of touch.
True. The whole vernacular has sprung up around technology here, which is interesting. What is grammatically correct and incorrect about Twitter and tweeting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez will be next.
I just think when we get our new touchpads in, how much we'll be able to do.
Absolutely, we'll be able to send ourselves questions. Foul ball, and Alan Porter sashayed out of the way of that one. Have you seen Jeff McElroy lately, by the way?
I have not.
He's coming out this week. Ouch.
She's like, let it go. I got the glove.
Yeah, that's what
I'll
the glove
make the play
is
for you. Good heater.
Struck him out looking. 2 strikeouts in a row for Carpenter. It's been quite a story this year. Guy, he's gone from AA to AAA to the big leagues.
And that ball right on the outside edge.
Had 28 straight scoreless appearances, minors and majors combined. Ball 1 to Ramirez, and he was traded by the Cardinals to the Astros for Pedro Feliz. Pedro recently signed with the Padres, by the way, but just about a week ago. It's pretty late in the season to be signing, but why not? Did you hear about Jason Lane?
I did not.
Jason Lane is playing AAA at Las Vegas, and he's also pitching when he's not playing the outfield.
You know, I thought I saw the name Lane in the box score out there for the Vegas club, but I didn't know it was him.
Wow. Greg Lucas had a note on that the other day. And he said Jason's throwing 3 pitches and pretty effective.
He was a pitcher in college.
Yeah.
You know, he used to go out and throw in the bullpen here for fun, and he got a good arm.
Low 90s is what he was getting his fastball. And, you know, as you know, JD, some of these short lefty relievers can last forever. And if he could become a short lefty reliever, he obviously wants to keep playing since he's been out of the big leagues for 4 years. And he's 34. If he could prove that he could get that thing over the plate, and if he's got a good bender to go with it, who knows?
Yeah. He could be Trevor Miller for a few years.
Line shot into center field. Ramirez cracked that one in at Lowbridge Carpenter for a 2-out, 2-strike single. He's aboard for Pena, who doubled in 2 in the first.
Escalona time.
Lefty on lefty for Brad Mills. So Carpenter striking out Castro and Barney was also close to having a 1-2-3 inning. Now he heads for the bench with the score 4-3 Cubs. Back in a moment.
No, it's not. It's the top of the 7th. 4-3 Chicago over Houston with a pitching change here. And I'm going to tell you about the 9-inning lunch break. Be sure to catch every break for every weekday afternoon home game this season, with the next date coming up this Wednesday as the Astros host the Cubs at 105. Score a field box ticket and $20 in food and beverage credit, all for just $45. Visit astros.com/value for tickets, guys.
Thanks, Patty. Good ball game going here. And we hope to see you there Wednesday for that 9-inning lunch break. Sergio Escalona is 2-1 with a 3.04 ERA. He comes in to face Carlos Pena.
Again, we mentioned last inning how that Cubs bullpen is so good, so you're going to strategize offensively to try to get even before you have to deal with that those great arms at the end of the bullpen. And likewise, you're going to do whatever you can to keep the Cubs right where they are from the 7th inning on.
Ground ball. Altuve's out in right field. Backhands. He won't be able to make a play. It's going to be an infield hit that goes to the outfield for Pena.
Pena's really been swinging early tonight. 3 of his 4 at bats, he's attacked the first pitch. Not a bad ball. Up a little bit, out away from him, but up. And Altuve can't throw him out from short right center.
Now a double switch. Yeah. Angel Sanchez comes off the bench. He's headed for shortstop. Clint Barmas made the final out in the 6th inning. He's coming out. And the new pitcher will go into that number 7 spot in the order. While Sanchez bats ninth, it's Fernando Rodriguez coming in with a score 4-3 Cubs. Back in a moment. A shortstop. He's in the 9th spot. He'll be due up second in the bottom of the 7th inning. Clint Barma's leaving, and his number 7 spot goes right-hander Fernando Rodriguez. He's 2-1 with a 2.73 earned run average.
Well, be ready, Sanchi. You know this ball is going to be hit right at you. The new guy into the game. You see some very good numbers there on Fernando Rodriguez. Low ERA over a pretty extended period of time. Just a magnificent job the other night in L.A. working out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam in the bottom of the 9th to keep the Astros in the game. The game they ultimately lost in the 10th, but it's pretty impressive.
He gave up a leadoff triple, and that was to Rivera, and then 2 intentional walks. A strikeout, a play at the plate that he made the throw on, and then a ground out to get out of that jam. Marlon Byrd is the batter. Time was called by Quintero. Byrd has a walk and a single. He scored a run tonight. Atlanta came up with a wild 3-run 9th inning, beating Brian Wilson in San Francisco 5-4.
Time to shave the beard.
Yeah.
Costanza was 3 for 3 tonight. It's the summer of Jose. Tomey reaching 600. Marquis out for the year with a broken leg. Things not going well for Ibar. 3 out of 46. And the Yankees continue rolling along without A-Rod.
Byrd looks at strike 1. And apparently, according to some stories, A-Rod is not going to be the cleanup man when he comes back. It's going to be Curtis Granderson.
If you're Joe Girardi, you just put the names in the hat, pick them out. It doesn't matter.
One and one to Byrd. Pittsburgh down St. Louis 6-2. James McDonald going to 8-6 with that win for the Buccos over Jake Westbrook. He's 9-7. Tough loss for the Cardinals because the Pirates have been down and out for the last couple of weeks, and they trailed early and gave up 3 in the 4th inning, and that was pretty much it for them. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Brewers continue to roll at home, and lately it's been the pitching. You think of all that offense and the way they bang the ball in Milwaukee at Miller Park, but their pitching over the weekend against the Pirates was outstanding. And again tonight they have a 1-0 lead over the Dodgers in the late innings. I think they only gave up 3 runs this weekend.
Curve is good for a strike. That makes it 2-2. And they are really putting together a tremendous record at home.
Jim Wolf had been kind of tight down tonight. All of a sudden has opened it up a little bit. The first strike fastball looked like it might have been down a little bit. At least he had called it down all night long, but now he's shown a little generosity at the lower reaches of the zone.
Bounced off Byrd. Ball 3. If Milwaukee wins tonight, it's now 2-0. That would be a 45-15 home record for the Brewers. One of those Cincinnati Reds teams of the mid-70s, I believe it was the 76 club, won 64 home games. And Milwaukee's on a pace to come close to that. Yeah, just nuts. Runners go on 3-2. It's ball 4. Bases are loaded.
Just to further prove the point, if we win tonight, the Brewers will have 45 home wins. That's 7 more than the Astros have all year home and road together.
Wow. Bases loaded. Reed Johnson singled in the 6th inning after 2 strikeouts. Now the Cardinals had won 8 of 11 on the road, and the Pirates were 1-10 in their last 11 home games before the Pittsburgh win tonight. And slipped on Rodriguez, and it's ball 1.
So here he is again in a bases loaded situation, not quite as perilous as it was the other night in LA, but the Astros still have a chance to win this game, down just 1. Reed Johnson, you saw the numbers, has been crazy good with the bases loaded in his career. You expect the most interesting man in the world to rise to the occasion.
He's jammed on this one, pops it up. Carlos Lee moves in for the catch. And it's no runs, 2 hits, 3 men stranded. Fans get up for the 7th inning stretch with a 1-run lead for the Cubs, 4-3. They've watched the Cubs build a 4-3 lead. The bottom of the 7th inning will be coming next. For right-hander Jeff Samardzija, he's 6-4 with a 3.51 ERA.
The 26-year-old right-hander out of Notre Dame University, hard thrower. And you see the strikeout numbers are good, 69 punch-outs in 66 2/3 innings, but he's walked 40. That's not so good. Batting average of $1.99, 4 home runs.
Humberto Quintero is first up against Samardzija. Russell went 2/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs, 1 strikeout, no walks. Quintero, with his 11-game hitting streak on the line, has grounded out and struck out. Marlon Byrd is shading toward right center.
Fastball, slider, split finger pitch from Samardzija. We'll get over slider for strike 1. The Astros have had his number so far this year in 5 ball games.
First 2 games, he gave up 2 runs each time. Broken bat roller. Castro comes in for it. 1 out.
Fernando did a nice job jamming the daylights out of Reed Johnson to end the 7th inning with the bases loaded. See if the Astros can take advantage here.
Angel Sanchez coming up for the first time tonight. Tries to get a rally started. Jason Bourgeois is on deck. Sanchez at 251 with a homer, has 25 runs batted in. He's had 243 at bats. Done very well off the bench. That's in tight, ball 1. Likes the ball away, and Samardzija ran it in on him. He takes that, and it's a 2-0 count for Angel. On the road trip, he was 2 for 9. Got the start yesterday at shortstop against the Dodgers. He had a hit. Now he's worked the count, 3-0.
Well, probably be taking 2 here if I were Angel. Samardzija's reputation as a guy who can lose the strike zone from time to time.
He only needs to take one to draw that 1-out walk. Third walk for Cubs pitching tonight. Lopez went 5 1/3. He allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, walking 2, fanning 3. Mike Quade making sure his players are positioned. Double play situation. Jason Bourgeois, the batter, 0 for 3.
Kind of stuff that just drives managers and pitching coaches nuts. You got a guy with a golden arm out there, and you got a hitter who's not a power guy, and can't find the strike zone once.
Strike to Bourgeois. Yankees 6, Kansas City 3. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Kansas City. Mets got 3 in the top of the 2nd at San Diego for a 3-0 lead. Duda and Tolley with home runs.
Duda might be a pretty good player, huh?
Yeah, pretty good chance. He's hit 5 homers. And the playing time was opened up for him with the Carlos Beltran trade. Could have been a pretty astute move there by the Mets. Baltimore 1, Oakland 0 there early in the game, top of the 2nd. Wieters hit his 11th for the Orioles. 2 balls and a strike.
This is the anniversary of, speaking of Orioles, Ron Luciano ejecting Earl Weaver, both ends of a doubleheader. It's one of the famous baseball feuds back in the 70s. Those guys, it seemed like every game the Orioles. Well, I actually took Luciano off the Orioles for a year because of his relationship with Weaver.
Okay. Line to short. Castro with a throw back. Oh, it looked like a double play for sure, but Sanchez, who was almost guilty of a running rock, is able to get back to first.
A lot of things going on there. Off the bat, you're thinking, hey, that could be a double in the gap. He doesn't get enough air under it. Castro able to handle the line drive. There's Sanchez slamming on the brakes. As Pena goes up for the throw, Sanchez back in safely. Castro really didn't put a lot on that throw.
No.
He didn't really step into it.
Well, it looked like he would get him for sure. Altuve is 0 for 3. He reached on an error and scored in the 6th on the 2-run double by Matt Downs. Softly hit out towards second. Barney charging. Barney with the flip for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded after 7. 4-3 Cubs.
Whataburger What a Fan. Come out tomorrow for an autograph session with Astros reliever Mark Melancon and Junction Jack. And guess what? I will be there too at the Whataburger listed on the screen from 11 a.m. to noon. While there, you can sign up to be the ultimate Whataburger What a Fan and have a chance to win 2 sweet tickets for the Astros game on September 24th and Whataburgers for a year. Plus, be on the field for batting practice and throw out the first pitch. Don't miss this chance to meet Mark Melancon at Whataburger, guys.
Galveston,
oh Galveston.
Yeah. You'll be traveling around tomorrow morning, Patty.
Yes, I will. And it sounded like a good idea at the time.
That's what, that's League
Right
City?
now, I'm having second thoughts.
It's in League City, right?
And I've got to make a stop at Lamarck High School before that.
Oh, wow. What time are you going to show up there, Patty?
I have to be there at 9.
You're not working tomorrow night, are you?
I will be out here for a little while through pregame, and then I'm gone. Bart will be here.
Tyler Colvin takes strike 1. He is 0 for 3 in this game. Rodriguez got a bases loaded out from Johnson. And now he gets a strike to make it 0-2. David Carpenter working 2/3 of an inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Escalona gave up a hit, no runs. Rodriguez, one of 4 Houston pitchers who has worked tonight. The Astros have Martinez, Lee, and Downs due up in the bottom half. 1-2. Minnesota down Detroit 9-6 in the Motor City. Liriano going to 8-9 with a win over Porcello, who's 11-8. Joe Nathan picked up save number 10. A big night for the Twins with Jim Thome hitting 2 long balls, giving him 600 for his career. 1 hopper. Rodriguez over to Carlos Lee.
And the Twins just left Cleveland, and obviously that's where Thome started his career and did so many good things over the years. Would have loved to have gotten to 600 there, but it didn't work out for him.
Well, the Tiger Club had a 2.5-game lead over Cleveland before the games today.
How about that Cleveland club with Thome and Manny Ramirez,
yeah.
Alomar.
Nuts. Blake DeWitt is on deck.
Albert Bell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bouncer in the hole, and Sanchez will try a long looping throw, but safe at first. Lefty Sean Marshall's warming up in the bullpen, and now we got a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Samardzija. Blake DeWitt, the left-handed batter, coming up as Soto has just picked up his 3rd straight hit.
Goes under the category of why not from Angel Sanchez's perspective.
262 for DeWitt, the former Dodger, with 4 homers. He's driven in 20.
He's pretty interesting too.
DeWitt takes ball 1 from Rodriguez. Blake has gone 0 for 7 in his last 4 games. But he's hit a couple of 2-run homers in 2 of his last 4 starts. One of those off Bronson Arroyo August 7th. Who hasn't hit a homer off Bronson Arroyo this year.
Yeah, he's given up a ton of them, hasn't he?
2-0. Yeah, 33, I believe. Cubs have had 29 pinch hits. That's another ball, and it's 3-0. DeWitt will turn 26 in 5 days. Cubs got him from the Dodgers last year in the Ted Lilly trade. Got 3 hits in a game against the Astros back on May 30th at Wrigley. He's drawn a pinch walk. 2 men on, 1 out for Castro now. In the American League, it's Boston and New York neck and neck. Detroit 2 ahead of Cleveland. The White Sox too have worked their way back into the equation, haven't they?
Finally back to 500. Ozzie Guillen's bunch showing signs of life. Would not be surprised to see them win that division.
They've won 8 of their last 10. Castro singled in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 4. Daniel Schlereth gave up that 600th homer to Tomey tonight.
He's in the history books.
Yeah.
It's always my philosophy. If you can't make history, be a footnote.
Snap throw to first. Safe. Carlos Lee thought maybe he had Blake to win.
Amazing how many times base runners get caught by surprise by Q. Especially these clubs in the division the Astros see so often. That is really close.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where you put yourself at risk as a base runner. You're trying to be really aggressive to get a jump. Maybe you're a base stealer or whatever. But here, they're just looking for an insurance run. That's a very important run for them out there at second base.
He might have had him. 2 balls and a strike. Well, you think of pitchers who gave up those famous home runs, JD, and sure, they're footnotes. They're part of the history and the lore of the game.
Especially the guys who really didn't really distinguish themselves in the game otherwise.
Yeah. Remember Wilfredo Rodriguez.
There you go. There's one.
Of the Astros. Gave up a milestone homer to Bonds here. Bouncer on 2 hops. Sanchez steps on second. Throws to first. Double play to win the Cubs 8th. With no runs a hit and a man left. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning. The 3, 4, 5 hitters are due up for Houston. It's 4-3 Cubs.
At Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. Phil?
Thanks, Patty. Mark Melanson warming up for Houston. In for the Cubs, the lanky left-hander, Sean Marshall. All 6'7" of him. And he is having a very good year again this year, JD.
Yeah, he's turned into a very fine pitcher. Came up with the Cubs in 06, and early on in his career, first 3 or 4 years, he was up and down from the AAA and in and out of the rotation, thought of as a starting pitcher, and had some success in that role. And this year, for the first time, exclusively a reliever. And he's having a real nice year. Got good stuff. Fastball that he commands pretty well down in the zone, both curveball and slider. Good quality breaking pitches and a straight changeup.
JD Martinez first to face him. He has 2 singles and a walk. Marshall brings it in, and it's strike 1 call.
57 innings of work. He's allowed just 1 home run. That's the kind of guy you want out there in a late inning situation in a tight game. Force the other club to string some hits together to beat you.
He may not be the prototypical hard thrower, but boy, he gets it done. Good stuff. He can change speeds. He's got the big curve. Plants a lot of thoughts in the hitter's minds.
Yeah, and he certainly has enough fastball. You know, he doesn't blow it at 94, but he's 91, 92.
He certainly pitched well against the Astros again this year. That curve is buried in the dirt, and it's 1-2.
Jim Wolf may be the best throwing umpire in the league. Coming out of the same gene pool as Randy. He's a righty. Lefty gets to be the pitcher, righty is an umpire.
Marshall's made 6 appearances against Houston with an ERA of 0. A curveball there gets him a strikeout. He got some serious tilt from that 6-7 frame on that pitch that drops a whole lot.
Yeah, you think of big lefties with good breaking balls, as Steve Carlton or John Candelaria. Jesse Orozco comes to mind. A lot of depth to that breaking ball.
Yeah. Carlos Lee is 0 for 2 with a walk. Man Downs on deck. Carlos Marmol has gotten squared away again, so this bullpen has been extremely effective lately. Kerry Wood has struck out the last 8 men he's faced. And with Marshall, the 8th inning setup guy, the Cubs feel good about having a lead at this stage of the game. They have Barney Ramirez and Pena due up in the 9th to try to add to it. Curve comes in for a strike, and it's 0-2 to El Caballo. Carlos is 3 for 8 against this lefty. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Marshall has 3 of those 25 holds this year against the Astros. 10 hits for the Cubs, 5 for the Astros. Both errors belong to Chicago tonight. Fastball's looped up the right field line, and that's going to land foul. Still a 1-2 count.
Promising initially, but too much slice spin on that one. Into the gallery. To punch that one back into play and try to scramble to make his par.
Marshall can work often. He had 80 appearances last year. Struck out 90 in 74 innings last season. Third ball, top foul.
He doesn't have a real long stride for a big, long body, but that's what allows him to get that leverage on his curveball. He kind of gets that front foot planted and works against it. That's where he gets that real good spin on his curveball.
Up the middle, and it trickles behind second. Barney with the throw, and a good off-balance play. 2 outs.
Marshall get a piece of that?
It looked like he got his glove on it. Yep, 1-4-3 play.
That 6-7 pays off, not just in terms of leverage on the pitches, but the ability to do this. No, he didn't get it.
Well, the official score, rule 1-4-3, and looked like he might have gotten it, but he didn't. This wasn't hit very hard.
Yeah. Nice play.
Excellent. 2 down, and now it is Matt Downs. He has a pair of doubles and drove in 2 with the 6th inning 2-base hit to left center. He gets the curve, and there's strike 1 to Downs. Florida 4, Colorado 3. They're in the top of the 7th at Coors Field. Mike Stanton hit his 27th. John Buck, number 14 for the Rockies. Troy Tulowitzki connected for the 24th time. 1-1.
Cubs playing very deep in the outfield here, trying to take away an extra base hit. Ramirez is tight to the line there at third. Pena, however, is off the line at first base. Downs is giving no indication to hit the ball down the first base line, so they're willing to give that up.
1-2 now. Milwaukee has shut out the Dodgers 3-0. Former Dodger Randy Wolf winning it. He's 10-8, beating Ted Lilly, who's 7-13. John Axford got his 35th save. To Hopper, Castro. 2 in the 8th. 1-2-3 for Marshall. 4-3 Cubs, moving to the 9th.
On Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Astros trying to keep it within 1, and they have sent closer Mark Melanson to the mound. And to call the action here in the 9th, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Well, it's a dual purpose, Craig. First of all, they want to keep it within 1, as you mentioned. Jimmy Paredes also checking in the double switch. He's at third base, so he'll be due up second in the bottom of the 9th inning. Matt Downs leaving and Melanson going into his number 5 spot in the order. The other purpose is to get Melanson some work. He has not pitched since Thursday in Arizona.
Yeah, Mark 6-3 on the year with 11 saves and 15 tries and a 3.31 ERA. Suffered that blown save, his most recent blown save in that ball game in Arizona. That's the game in which Paul Goldschmidt took him deep with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 9th to tie the ball game.
Kerry Woods getting loose for the Cubs. So a difficult game for Mark on Thursday night on the Goldschmidt pinch homer. 1 strike away from nailing that one down, and now in addition to that, having to wait several days to pitch again. That's been part of the issue with the Astros not winning many games. Their closer doesn't get that regular save situation.
Yeah, so I think what you have to do is just pitch him more often in non-save situations.
Barney takes their strike one.
It's tough for a manager because when you're Brad Mills and you're having such a hard time winning games, you don't want to get caught short to have a chance to preserve the lead and not have Melanson at your disposal.
That's good for a strike. 0-2 to Barney, who's 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. The Astros will have Michaels, Paredes, and Quintero due up in the bottom of the inning. Sanchez is in the number 9 spot in the order. He could bat. In the dirt, and it's 1-2. Fernando Rodriguez in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, no runs. He had 2 walks, no strikeouts tonight.
Good job so far by the Astros pen.
Yep.
Scoreless baseball.
Melanson will get a trip home, and the Astros go on the next trip to Colorado. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and then they'll visit San Francisco after that. So 2 series coming up for Houston with the Giants. Texas won, the Angels won, bottom of the 2nd in Anaheim. Ogando pitching for Texas. Carlos Lee will toss. Melanson will take it. 3-1 play, 1 out. Ramos Ramirez has a couple of hits and 4 at bats tonight. Jumped on the first pitch in the first inning for a single to left center, and again in the 5th he went for the first pitch, fouling out. He's had the aggressive approach working, as has Pena, who's on deck.
He swings at the first pitch just about as much as anybody in the league. He doesn't get cheated either. It's a good aggressive hack.
Curveball top foul. Tomorrow night it's Brett Myers with a 12-3 career record against the Cubs and a 2.12 ERA. His .800 career winning percentage against the Cubs tied for tops among active starters. His mound opponent, 10-game winner Ryan Dempster. Line past a lunging Altuve into right center field. That one was up there where Ramirez could take a good swing at it and deliver hit number 3.
Yeah, he made a couple good pitches and then a hanging curveball. Ramirez, why don't you see this one just kind of float up there, sit there belly button high.
He's aboard for Pena. Pena has a pair of hits. He drove in 2 with a double in the first inning. 11 hits for the Cubs to 5 for the Astros. That one gets by off the mid of Quintero, and the runner Ramirez takes second.
Well, that's big. Double play is gone. Insurance run in scoring position.
Pass ball. Number 3 for Quintero this season.
Frustration from Q. It's a fastball up, and he just can't corral it. See Brad Mills chatting with Doug Brocail there in the dugout. Now they want to have a conversation. So, you know, that's the thing about managing. You know, baseball is a slow-paced game, but things happen and change in a hurry. And as soon as that ball went to the backstop, okay, what do we want to do? What do you want to do over the base open with Pena? A little conversation in the dugout. Now Mills will take it out to his pitcher.
Yeah, they could walk Pena and set up a double play with Bird coming up next. Right-handed batter. And then Johnson, another right-handed batter, would follow him unless a pinch hitter came to the plate, which would be unlikely. So we'll see what the choice is. There's Johnson getting ready. Pena is 0 for 2 in his career with a walk against Melanson. Altuve out in right field, which is where he has been stationed for Carlos's at-bats tonight. Puts a different twist on it with a runner at second.
Well, when Ramirez was on first, Altuve was on the dirt because he had to be in position for a double play. But now that that's gone, he can go back out to playing that rover position.
Kind of the I formation with Altuve and J. Mike in right field. And Pena does pull. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-1.
And those numbers we show you are where his hits are, and you know, just about all those hits to left field are probably line drives or fly balls. Very few times will he hit the ball through the infield on the ground on the left side. So straight up in the outfield pretty much, but strong pull on the infield.
It's a good curveball. 2-2 to Pena. As the Yankees try to tie the Red Sox for the AL East lead, they lead at 7-4 in the bottom of the 8th at Kansas City. Another curve is ball 3. The appeal went to third base. Check swing call by Brian O'Nora. Now a big pitch coming for Melanson, considering this situation. Like he kept his hands out in front and controlled the bat.
Now base open, doesn't have to give in.
Another curveball here, do you think?
Well,
perhaps.
I don't. He can go a lot of different ways. But he just, he can try to, if he's going to throw a fastball, he can try to pick the outside corner, throw the cutter in on his hands, or go with the curveball.
Got him.
Curveball.
Wow. Was that a good downer, JD?
And we talk about pitchers giving in and not giving in, and usually the assumption is when we're talking about not giving in, it's not giving in by throwing a fastball, but you can try to pick a corner with a fastball, just try to slice the edge down around the knees, or bust the guy up and in. By not giving in, it doesn't necessarily mean not throwing the heater, but that curveball is a real good weapon for Melanson.
Outstanding. Now he got him, didn't have to pitch around him and walk him, and he works to Bird with 2 outs and a runner at second. Bird has walked twice and singled. He takes strike 1. Cubs have had Kerry Wood up in the bullpen. Usually it's Marmol at save time. It's up and it's a 1-1 count. And the Cubs have the lead entering the 9th inning. Their record this year is 43-4. That's good for a strike. That makes it 1-2.
Well, Marmol has worked in the last 2 ball games. 2/3 of an inning on Saturday, an inning yesterday, picking up saves in both those games. Didn't throw a lot of pitches in either one, but Quaney might want to give him a night off.
Got him on strikes. Melanson does a nice job. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. Now the Astros fans want to see a furious 9th. Cubs 4, Astros 3. As the Cubs closer in recent days. He is not in the game. Instead, it's Kerry Wood, who's been a hot hand lately. He does not have a save this year, but he has struck out the last 8 men he's faced, working for the first time in 4 days. JD?
Yeah, Marmol has worked 5 of the last 6 days, so he's got the night off. It falls to Kerry Wood, and as Brownie mentioned, he's been throwing really well lately. He certainly has plenty of experience in these situations. Saved 34 games for the Cubs in 2008, 20 saves for the Indians in 2009. Guy who's been around since breaking in 1998, a Rookie of the Year season in which he punched out 20 Astros on that day in May at Wrigley Field.
Jason Michaels is first up for the Astros. He pinch hit in the 6th inning and struck out.
Wood still can rush it up there, averaging about 94, 95 miles an hour with a fastball. He doesn't throw that big slider anymore. He throws a cutter and a curveball.
Fastball fouled away, strike 1. Wood is 0 for 4 in saves this year. As JD mentioned, he has a history of being able to close out games. 62 saves in his career. Michaels 0 for 2 against him. Fastball high to right center field. Bird and Colvin over. Colvin 1 out. Marshall had a 1-2-3-8, getting another hold. Rodrigo Lopez is in a position to be a winner for the 4th time. Jimmy Paredes will bat for the first time. He entered the game in a double switch.
Well, Kerry Wood just pumping that fastball right over the heart of the plate. He's not exactly, at least in that confrontation with J-Mike, was not trying to hit corners.
283 for Jimmy Paredes. 1 homer, 5 runs batted in for the switch hitting third sacker. He had 321 on the road trip, 9 for 28 with a homer. Taking strike 1.
I suspect he's going to come off that fastball right here. A little cutter.
0-2. I was asking Matt Downs about all the cutters we see today, and he said, boy, that's something you see an awful lot in today's game. And a big pitch gets him on strikes. 2 outs. Quintero now.
And fastball, cutter, and then a perfectly placed curveball dropping out of the zone. Jimmy Paredes was just schooled by a good veteran.
Quintero's 11-game hitting streak is on the line. He's 0 for 3. They strike 1 when Michaels hit the fly ball that ended the streak of 8 straight batters struck out by Wood. And that was tied for the longest streak by any Cub in the last 42 years. Sanchez on deck. One and one. Cubs trying to make this 12 wins in 15 games. Foul back. 1-2. Mike Quaddy's club took the early lead 2-0 in the first on a double by Pena. And they have been in charge ever since. Got 2 more in the 6th on a 2-run double by Soto. That got away from it a little bit. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Trying to go back to that curveball and squirt it out of his hand.
3rd time Wood has appeared against the Astros. He hasn't given up a hit in the first 2. And Wood is able to have a 1-2-3 ninth inning to get his first save of the season and nail it down for Lopez. The Cubs win it by 1, 4-3. They've won 12 of 15, and they're now 6-4 against the Astros this season. They got the lead early. Relief pitching was solid. They win it 4-3 tonight.